We are having a paradigm shift in the world right now. That's $1 million in passive residual income to me. I've spent years and years and years of my life with the wrong damn people. I'm going to ask every single person that question, but this is the key though. But let me tell you something real quick though, Joe. I will cut anyone out of my life that doesn't have goals to have a better life.
I'm gonna throw a curveball at you real quick.
Yep.
Hey, Daniel, so I've been looking forward to this for a while. I know I chatted with you a few weeks ago, and I've been watching you for a while. And I'm one of those guys who's always a little bit skeptical, about people who are going on social media and growing their following. And I do my research, and I'm trying to figure out if it's real. And, if I really, really have a large respect and admiration for what they're saying and what they're saying consistently, I look into the results and all types of things. And you're definitely one of the guys that I spotted. I would say probably in my top 10 right now, especially in the area of sales, helping to develop people, team building, and that type of thing. I'm so thankful that you took the time today. I know that your schedule's all over the place, and I want to welcome you to the show. The show is stronger, smarter, richer, and you definitely fit the ticket. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe, for having me on, man. Excited to be here.
For sure. Man, I started to make a list of questions of things that I wanted to ask you just based off of your expertise. And I went from like a legal size notepad to a note card. So I'm not sure if I can drag this out for 3 hours. We'll try to give some people some massive takeaways from you here. I'm going to pick your brain a little bit. And so, my background is in sales, your background is in sales, but really sales is much more than just that word or that occupation now. But give us a little bit of a background, like how early was it? Were you a natural? When did you start? What's the story there?
Well, I literally was playing baseball, hurt my knee real bad in college, and my baseball career was over. So I had to make a decision. I was back at home, and I kind of lost all my motivation, because when you're an athlete and you lose the ability to compete, it's devastating. And for me, it was one of those things where I came back home and I was just, honestly, I felt like a loser, and I was doing nothing with my life. And then a buddy of mine, thank God for this guy, he said, "Hey, why don't you check out the business that I'm getting started with, and see what you think." And of course, I'm probably one of those skeptical guys too, Joe. I didn't really believe what he was saying. He was kind of sounded a little bit too good to be true.
Yeah. And
it took me about 4 months before finally I said, "All right, let's sit down, let's talk, let's have a conversation." And finally I looked at it and I said, "You know what? There was a guy that was making about $400,000 a year. And at this time I was making $7 an hour, working a little mom and pop business. It wasn't sales, never sold anything in my life."
Yeah.
And I looked at this guy, and he was like an ex-grocery store manager that also was not in sales, and he was making $400,000. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is something I really got to take a look at. And so anyways, I took a look at it. I saw it for what it was, and I saw it as an opportunity, not a guarantee. I saw it as an opportunity, and it was selling financial services. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it. I went and got licensed and everything. And so that was kind of my beginning of being in sales. And then of course I went under some really, really smart guys, and they taught me how to sell.
Now, going back in time, I know, dude, sometimes I have to slow down and be like, wait a minute, because to be fair to, like a lot of our students, sometimes we got to step back and remember that I didn't know then what I know now. And it's sometimes you detach a little bit from what your emotions were like when you first got into sales. So what were you, your first few months, what were you thinking? Did you just hit the ground running, or were you like, was there some resilience there?
I think that for me, because I came from a sports background, I was so coachable. And of course, because I was so broke, I was driving around in a $4,000 Nissan pickup truck, and I was broke. I was living in my mom's converted, attic, basically.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I mean, whatever this guy tells me to do, I'm going to fucking do it, man. I mean, I was like, I was coachable. I was like, I'm going to do this. And so I hit the ground running, honestly. Now, in my training, the guy was still training me. This guy that was making a lot of money, he was still training me. He was still teaching me. I didn't know what I was doing, but he said, look, you need to set up appointments. You need to make sure that you're, following the system and following the process. Mm-hmm. I think not that I made a whole lot of money, because my first year I only made like 15 grand. So I didn't make a lot of money, but it was more the education. It was more the experience that I was just, I went to the library. I read everything that I could find on financial stuff, money books. I read Money Magazine. I subscribed to Consumer Reports. I looked at all these places that I could get better.
Remember when we used to go to the library for that?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, it was crazy.
I have some similar stories. I remember one summer I was so excited. I had come across some ideas from a relative of mine, and I actually left family vacation a week early, and convinced my mom I need to go home. And I literally went from library to backyard, and kept, trying to study stuff. And you said something, interesting. You said you were coachable. It's funny because when I'm working with my clients, they're always like, if you had your choice of people, who would you pick? And I said, just off the cuff, I would pick athletes and military people.
Right.
They're like, why? I'm like, because they're just so used to sticking to the playbook, not limited to it. Feedback is always welcome. And they don't just jump in a game and play. Like sales agents, they think experience is the quickest way to learn. So they kind of learn in front of the customer. That's not the way to do it. I want somebody who's willing to practice way, way, way more than they play. So that's really good. The other thing that comes to mind with that, with that story is I started thinking a lot of people who, especially right now, there's been a big change, big shift in the economy. You were there for 07, 08, 09. I was there 07, 08, 09, roller coaster ride. And there's a lot of people right now in this temporary window. We just left like a super perfect economy where everybody thinks that they're amazing at everything that they do. And, one of the things that I share with you and many others is let's see how you do during a tough time, during a tough economy. And are you market dependent? Meaning, does the economy have to be perfect in order for you to be good? And whatnot. So there's a lot of people floating right now, finally being curious enough and questioning, where should I go? What can I do? What's more secure? I can't be dependent on this company or on just this employer or just this evening job anymore, or just these types of clients or just my industry and so forth. And they're out there floating, but a lot of them have never been in sales before. So how do you, when you see someone, when you see talent and they tell you, I'm not the salesy type, I don't like to be pushy and whatnot. How do you handle that? What's your perspective?
Well, it's actually changed, believe it or not, over this last probably even 6 months. I'm not even kidding you. I mean, I've been in the recruiting and sales business for 24 years now. And I've mastered the art of overcoming objections like nobody's business. But the truth is, I think what's exciting about these times, Joe, is the fact that now, because of target marketing, because of lead generation, we are not limited to those people that say, I'm not pushy, I'm not, I'm shy. I don't, because the truth is, most of the people that are attracted to me that I actually bring into business now, they don't have that problem. Because believe it or not, when I'm recruiting somebody or, a lead comes in, I'll ask them a couple of questions. I'll say, because I know one of the things we were going to talk about is, who do I look for? And I say the same, I say this almost every single time. I say, look, I don't want to waste your time. I know, I don't, you don't want to waste my time. Are you coachable? Are you money motivated? Do you have some leadership skills, communication skills? So they're kind of letting me know right off the bat if they're the right person or not. Because if they're not, then I'm going to move forward a lot quicker on that situation. Because, like, for example, if they say, hey, I'm shy or I don't think I could sell anything, I'll say, look, I mean, we all started somewhere. I didn't ever sell anything either when I started. So obviously I figured it out. You're the kind of person that obviously if you learn something, you could figure it out, right? And if I taught you something, you would actually follow directions, right? And so again, that's kind of a way that I would overcome that objection. But the truth is, if I notice that person doesn't have good communication skills, I'm going to let them know, look, this is probably not the right situation for you right now.
So you're
doesn't
feeling
mean
them out
forever.
from the get-go, right in the middle of your own conversation with them.
I think that we are having a paradigm shift in the world right now. And the reason why is because, and at least my mind has been blown over these last few months, because there's 400 million people in the United States and Canada. So the way I look at it, I only need, in my business in particular, I need about 1,000 agents licensed. Doesn't even mean they all need to be producing. I need 1,000 agents in my organization. Doesn't mean I got to recruit all of them by myself. I just got to build an organization where there's 1,000 licensed people. That's $1 million in passive residual income to me. Okay. So out of 400 million people, I need 1,000. That's it. I just need 1,000 out of 400 million.
Sure. You said something really interesting. I'm gonna throw a curveball at you real quick.
Yep.
You said when you ask people, are you coachable and are you money motivated? Do you think that people sometimes say that in an interview just for acceptance?
Yes.
They just say yes.
And I've been finding that out. Yeah, of course, because I see the fall off rate of some of these people that they don't make it through their first 30 days with me even, right?
Now, you mentioned you can kind of tell from their communication skills. Now, generally speaking, people tend to have reasonable communication skills, but what specific characteristics are you looking for?
Well, I just want to know if they're personable, if they're likable. Are they somebody that, can have a nice conversation and their grammar's not totally tore up? Doesn't mean they got to speak like a lawyer or anything like that. That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, hopefully not.
I'm looking for somebody that is just a genuinely nice person. I could teach them all the rest of that crap.
Yeah.
But if they're a good person and they can speak, if they're speaking like a gang member, I don't know. I mean, that might take a little more time. And if they're speaking so bad and you could just tell that their education level is like the 3rd grade, then they might not be the person. But again, not to say that I'm prejudging anybody, because I'm gonna give anybody a shot that says, because I'm gonna ask every single person the same question. I'm gonna say, look, if I was to teach and train you, would you try? That's my kind of little closing question after we have a little conversation. I'm gonna ask every single person that question. But this is the key though, right? When they give me pushback, then I get to determine whether or not I'm really gonna fight for this guy, right? Am I really gonna try to overcome his objections if he just doesn't sound like a nice person, or he doesn't sound like a person that is going to be able to handle the type of, mental stimulation that I'm going to give this guy to help him grow to that next level. If he can't handle it, I don't know that look, this is the problem, Joe. I've spent years and years and years of my life with the wrong damn people. And I am tired of spending time with the wrong people. Again, because you know why? Because I have a lot of value to spend with the right people, because they're out of 400 million people. I know that there's right people out there. There's people that are sitting there right now and they're saying, you know what? I'm a good person. You know what? I get along with people pretty good. I go to my job every day. They tell me exactly what to do. I follow the dang procedures like to the T. I do everything I'm supposed to do, and I only got paid 40 grand last year. And I'm effing sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you know what I say? I say, if you have some decent communication skills and you have, some decent leadership skills and you're coachable and you can follow a system, you're worth $1 million a year. That's what I really feel. I really feel that way.
You said something really key right there. You said, spend time with the right people. And I mean, that doesn't apply to just business, right? That applies to a lot of things, personal life. And we're not saying cancel people out of your life, but time, manage how much time you're spending with those people. And, I've noticed throughout my career, I've had plenty of people that are amazing friends and, we love each other, love spending time with each other. But at some point I had to make a distinction that, I love this person, but I can't spend that much time with them because that person is not moving in the direction that I want to move.
Correct.
The other thing that that you brought up was, are you personable? Do you care? And so forth. And maybe you can, share some insight on this, but I found that, excuse me, that almost as if I've tried to make the predictions. And sometimes I've seen people, and I've been, help like you mentoring people in the sales business for, almost, let's just not even go there. But sometimes now I'm saying there's no crystal ball. And there's always that person, I'm like, oh, this person is going to crush it. They're going to kill it. And they end up being okay. And then there's like some quiet person in the corner. And all of a sudden, 3 months later, like, where did this person come from? Like, this person is just killing the game. What do you find? Do you see that in your business?
I mean, honestly, like, I want to find athletes. I want to find military people. I want to find people with energy. Like, I just feel like there's so many of those people out there. The quiet guy in the corner, yes, that does happen sometimes. But I don't see that happening as like for example, right? The guy above me in my company that helped to train me, this guy was like, he could tell a story like nobody's business. Totally personable guy. Totally money motivated. The guy above him that trained him, this guy was a sales guy, played tennis, was an athlete, totally money motivated. I mean, the guy above him was a sales guy, right? So again, now the guy in the quiet guy in the corner, I'm going to ask him the same question. I'm going to say, hey, look, man, if I was to teach you and train you, what would stop you from trying? And he's going to say yes or no. And if he says no, I'm going to say, hey, man, maybe this is not the right, situation for you right now. I totally get it. When you feel the timing's right, come on back, man, let's talk. But if I find somebody that's motivated, that's money motivated, that's coachable, that played sports, that maybe was in the military or law enforcement, something like that, I'm going to be like, dude, me and you are going to become best friends. And we're going to figure out what you need to learn so that you could become successful with me. Because the truth is, you already have all the skills already pre-programmed in you to become successful. I just got to teach you the words. I just got to teach you a couple things that you need to figure out to learn to get better. I know this is different because everybody wants me to say, I'm just going to recruit everybody. But I don't feel, looking at the last 24 years of me being in business, not everybody, but most people, I'm talking 90% of the people that have been successful with me through the years, they were exactly what I've just described right now. Now, I could try to waste my time with trying to find that 10%. I could waste a lot of energy and time and, my resources on that. Or I could say, guess what I could do? I could focus on my strengths. I could focus on what's strong. I could focus on what I know is a higher probability, right? It's just like anything, right? It's a game of chance, right? When you're recruiting and you're trying to build an organization, you're trying to do something big, it's all a game of chance.
So you mentioned that you really do look for those pre-programmed sort of talent-based characteristics. Let's sum it up real quick. Pardon me. So what would you say the top 3 characteristics are of the people who are already top producers in your organization?
Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, the highest paid person in my business, she is, she's a little Latina lady. She makes $1 million a year. She hasn't had to work in probably 15, 20 years. She literally is a go-getter, ambitious, money motivated, a great talker. She sold, women's cosmetics before she came to work with me. And so she is, Exactly. Another guy, the second highest paid person in my organization, this guy was he worked at a grocery store, and he was you can't, more competitive than anybody you've ever met in your life.
What the hell was he doing in a grocery store?
Loves UFC. He was just, again, they're out there, Joe. They're everywhere, man. They're just crawling around.
Undiscovered talent.
It's that person. It's that person that made, he made, I think the most he ever made working there was $30,000. Now the guy makes $60,000 a month, and he was making $30,000 a year at his job. Maybe I'll just throw a couple of other ones at you. Another guy was, Frank was a salesperson with a trucking company, total sales guy, total closer. A lot of the closing skills that I got, because I was like 24 when I recruited him. He was, I don't know, he was probably like 34 or something like that. I think he's like 10 years older than I am. And I recruited this guy, and he was an athlete, played basketball. I had to pull him away from basketball a little bit to try to get him to do this. But man, once he got it, he just took off because he was a sales guy. So think about it. The three highest paid people in my, and I could go on and on.
Dude, this is super interesting. This is super interesting. Because what I wrote down was this. I'm taking notes on the stuff you say. Yeah. I'm robbing you of information here.
Yeah.
The first one was just an enthusiastic woman. And I always say, fellas, I'm like, pick and choose your battles. You don't want to compete with a female closer.
Right.
And she comes from the makeup industry. Mm-hmm. She killed it.
Yep.
The other person worked at a grocery store.
But was an athlete and competitive.
But did not realize his true capabilities.
Yep.
Okay. He probably only saw himself as being, athletic on a basketball court. He didn't think that he could be athletic in the business world, in the relationship world. The third person you said came from a trucking company. If that's not enough proof that if you feel vulnerable in the industry or if the employer that you're in, we're not saying jump ship and stop getting paychecks or make a sudden move. But what we're saying is you can probably find far better stability and future financial control for yourself and for your loved ones by at least experimenting into the sales game, especially with leaders like Daniel and some of the others out there who are not startups. They are not in economy dependent industries.
Right.
They are not in, these are long-time people-based industries. In fact, the tougher the economy is, the greater the needs for, to help people with their finances and with their planning and with their budgeting. Like many of us say, we're not taught this crap in school. There are grown men and women that I did not become really financially literate till probably the past 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And I literally spent half of my career making money, not being financially literate. Partially because of my own ignorance and partially because I wasn't programmed that way. Right? I have a family that's from the Middle East, came here in the 70s. I was the only one born here. They worked their butt off. I'm one of those grateful guys, we can get into this. We'll get into this next. Family life was great. The love surrounding me was great. My mother and father were great people, right? Faith-driven people. And they raised us right. However, they were not financially literate. And so they couldn't pass that down to me. But to say, I want to be a good person, I want to be a great father, I want to be a great husband, I want to be a great son-in-law, and to not plan for your financial future and to not at least grab this and do some research or meet with an expert like Daniel or his team members and some of the others out there and say, I want to do this, I'm working hard to prevent. Well, if you're going to claim to be that person, you need to start thinking about financial planning. I mean, would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. I think that financial planning is the first step to living a great life, in my opinion, because I think that if you don't know what the future looks like financially, then what happens, the way our brains work is that when we're not congruent, it causes stress. When we're not organized, it causes stress. When we're not sure of what's going to happen, it causes stress.
Yeah.
So when you have a roadmap where you're like, okay, I know exactly what my future is going to look like. Now, again, there's all these variables in between, right? I mean, a lot of shit's going to happen in between those.
It's not a straight line.
It's not a straight line.
Yeah.
But when you kind of have like a goal, when you're pretty sure that, okay, if I do this every single month, I set aside this X amount of dollars every single month, and I just let that money compound over the next, 20 or 30 years. I know that I'm going to have X amount of dollars. Pretty securely, I'm going to be okay. Now, doesn't mean that's the only thing we need to do. There's other places to invest, maybe to make money a little bit faster, or even to, again, maybe my business is going to explode and I'm going to make money even faster. So, but at least if we know that we have a secure game plan for the future, and we know that, hey, look, when I put my head on the pillow, I got life insurance, man. When I put my head on the pillow, I got a good investment strategy planned out for me. When I put my head on the pillow, I have a business that is pretty solid. That gives me security. It gives me a sense of like, you know what, I know where I'm going, and I'm going to keep going with it.
So what you're saying is, I hear you saying is, make sure long-term financial planning is in the mix.
Right.
Make sure it's in the mix. The other thing that I find is you mentioned something key there, and it was like people getting stressed. And when I take a look at it, first of all, I know that stress exists. I believe in physical stress. But mental stress, I feel like, comes from the individual lacking progress in the area that they're stressed about. I've never heard anybody who's really good at financial planning or knows that they have a plan in place, you should vent about how stressed they are about money. It's only people who are just working for money and spending the money. There's actually no structure in place. I've been through phases like that many times. Stressed about money. Well, it's probably because you don't have a money plan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If they're stressed about family life, they're probably not applying themselves and learning and finding ways that they can, improve their family life. Right. Which leads me to another topic. You have a great family, amazing family. I've seen some of the stuff that you're doing. I saw you and your daughter playing some games the other day, and she was crushing it on some game. You guys were high-fiving each other. And so, along the way, now you've got a team of over 1,000 people. Okay. I know people who have teams of 7 people and are overwhelmed. Right? And they're marriage sufferers, or they're like, I need to spend more time with my kids. Tell us, bro, how does this go?
Look, the cool thing about my business, if you really break it down, what's probably one of the biggest benefits that has helped me to kind of have a great business family life is the fact that when I recruit somebody, my whole focus is not just to recruit them so they can sell for me. That's not my intention. Now, that happens. It's just that's not my only intention for that person. My goal is to turn them into an independent leader, turn them into somebody that they could crush it for their own family. Matter of fact, I care about how much they make more than I even really care about how much I make. My whole focus is to help them become financially independent as quickly as humanly possible.
So let's tie this back to the family then. Are you saying that only when you become financially independent can you have balance in your family? Or at least manage it better?
No. What I'm saying is that not the financial independence part, what I'm saying is as you're building your business, you have leaders that are helping you. See, I don't have 1,000 agents that I got to control every day, right? I was on a meeting right now. There was probably maybe 50 people on the meeting, but I have 1,000. Actually, matter of fact, I think we have 1,500 agents today now. But these are being run by 47 different leaders. We have 47 different locations.
What about for the people who are not in that situation and they're 15 years deep into what they're doing and they do have to be at the office 12 hours a day? I mean,
right.
I know that you've either helped people in that situation or you have close friends in that situation. What do they do?
So I think that what they have to do is they have to get organized with their life. They have to organize their time better. I just call it compartmentalization. So I believe that you need to take all the areas of your life and put them in little boxes. And again, because I was there, everything that you just described right now that somebody might be going through, I was there too. So I was working 12, 15 hours a day at one point. I was out all night. So you know what we used to do? I'll give you a kind of a cool little example. What we used to do when my son was born, this was like in 2003 or 2002 actually. And we would keep him up late at night. So people were like, why do you keep your kid up so late? It's because I don't get home until, 11 o'clock at night. So we'd take him a nap. So Karma, my wife, would take him a nap and then get him a nap. And then he would be up late at night with me. So I'd play with him till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, because I don't need to get up in the, you run your own business, you can get up whenever you want to get up. And so I'd sleep in late with them. I'd play with them all day. And then I'd, kill it, 1 o'clock in the afternoon to midnight again, I would kill it out in the business. So again, the way that you organize your life and you plan out, you can change things. See, like for example, another little thing, right? If it's my anniversary, I do these training orientations every Saturday morning, train a bunch of our agents, and it's usually goes from about 9 to 11 on Saturday morning, right? And most people go, oh my God, Saturday morning, aren't you supposed to be at home? And we just have to organize our life a little bit differently than most people. Mm-hmm. And if it's my anniversary and it's Saturday, guess what? We still do training. If it's Wednesday night and I have an appointment to go on, I mean, this is like, when I was really killing it in the business. If it was Wednesday night and I had an appointment, guess what? I would go to the appointment. I wouldn't go. And my wife understood that because she was in business with me. We were partners in business.
I was going to ask that next.
I mean, yeah. So we don't go to dinner on the anniversary. Yeah. We don't care about birthdays. We don't care about anniversaries. We don't care about all the stupid shit that everybody. We don't even go to dinner on Valentine's Day.
You still celebrate it. Still celebrate it.
Of course.
It just doesn't have to be at that minute.
Exactly. So I
incorporate it into your life.
It blows me away when people say, well, I can't go to that training or I can't go to that appointment because it was my anniversary. And I'm going, that's why you won't make it.
Yeah. So I'm hearing a lot of this. I'm hearing that, a couple things that I got from you right now was, first of all, whether it's in business, your sales team, or your relationships, choose the right people. It doesn't mean you have to cancel people out or tell them I can never talk to you again. Sometimes it's family members. Sometimes it's high school buddies, whatever the case may be. Are they headed in your direction? If not, minimize your time here, increase your time in the right circle.
But let me just tell you, Joe. Let me tell you something real quick, though, Joe. I will cut anyone out of my life that doesn't have goals to have a better life.
Sure.
And I will cut anybody out of my life. I'm telling you, this is very important that you understand, because I know this is controversial and I know some people don't believe this. But if somebody is negative, if somebody does not have goals, if somebody does not want to help themselves as well as help other people have better lives, look, I'm spending zero time with those people. I do not have time. I am trying to live my best life, and I am trying to create the most value for my audience, the most value for my team, the most value for the people that love me and care about me. Look, I have zero time for haters. I have zero time to people that don't want to support me. I have zero time to people that don't care about me. And people show you how much they care about you. Like for example, right? I mean, there was when I was first starting in business, there was people that would not set up an appointment with me. There was aunts and uncles that would not set up appointments with me. And I remember when we got married a few years later, when we had our wedding, I didn't invite those people to my wedding. Are you serious, Daniel? You did not invite your uncles on your grandfather's side to the wedding?
Wait, what ethnicity are you, by the way?
My wife's, by the way, Mexican Irish.
Ooh, that's a big one, bro.
And so my wife's grandfather, he had a cousin that we didn't invite, and even he got pissed, right? He was like, "How come you didn't invite so and so?" I said, "Look, this dude wouldn't set up an appointment with me. There's no chance that I'm buying this guy dinner, right? There's no chance. If he wouldn't give me 1 hour of his life just to give me a training appointment and support me and help me in my business, help me do a little bit better, ain't gonna happen, dude. Ain't gonna happen."
I'm not buying this guy dinner.
I'm just telling you, that's what I believe. And that's why, Joe, honestly, that's why I made it, because I committed, man. There was no going back. I was going to make it no matter what, and no one was going to stop me from trying to get to where I wanted to go. And today, financially independent many, many times over. The cool thing about it is I get to spend time with people that are bringing value to my life, that care about me, that want me to have a better life, that love me and want to see me do good. I mean, like, why would I want to spend time with anybody other than that?
Right. Yeah. That was a big takeaway right there. Don't buy dinner for people who don't spend time with you.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Happen. Ain't gonna happen.
Dude, this is awesome, man. And look, man, I appreciate your time. I want this quarantine thing that we're going through right now to blow over. You're in Cali, right? You're right here in Southern Cali? Yeah.
Southern California.
Yeah.
Rancho Cucamonga.
Okay, yeah, pretty close. Yeah, some friends there. I'm in Orange County. So we got to visit soon, and I'd love to do this in person, either at your house and meet your family or here.
For sure.
I'm sure, I can watch people even by video, and I can see where their intentions are, and I can see where their heart is, and I can see whether or not they're doing good. And I just want to say that, I appreciate you for what you're doing, even though I haven't known you very long. And I encourage you to keep going and keep growing, man, because I've said this to a lot of people in our leadership circles. I said, there are not enough of us. Excuse me. There are not enough of us. Said if we all went out there and taught the same thing, there still wouldn't be enough of us. There's a lot of distractions right now in the world. There's a lot of noise, and they're constantly programming our brothers and sisters, our fellow American citizens and beyond, to not live and realize the life that they deserve. And we were born to become people of amazing nature. And I appreciate you for all that you're doing in the community, man. I appreciate your time too. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you, man. And anything I can do to help you in any way, please feel free to reach out. I'm excited. I actually love collaborating with people like you. You're a winner. You're a champion. You're a doer. And you make shit happen. And that's why you're one of the greats, man. And so we need more great people in this world. And just excited to meet you, and excited to get to know you in the future.
Likewise. And if you want to donate some of that nice hair over here, you just go ahead and do so, Ralph.
You got it, man. Although it's turned a little white over here, man. So.
All right, man. Enjoy your day. I know you're busy. Signing off.
Take care, bro.
Thank you, everybody for joining us. We'll see you soon.